Hello, how are you? This is Els coming from Bemis Crafty Corner, and, well, I was in the Hobby Lobby, and, a couple of weeks back, I saw these in the Hobby Lobby, and so I just looked at them, figured it out, came home, and I did it, and showed you guys, all the measurements to do this. You ladies, all the measurements on how to do this. And so I was in Hobby Lobby yesterday and I saw this and I was like, oh, look at that. Interactive folio for collecting life's memorabilia. Well, nowhere on here does it give any measurements. So I was like, well, that's kind of sucky. So I ended up having to buy it. This is the Tim Holtz Ideology Accordion folio. It's one folio. It's $6, and I said nobody needs to spend $6 on what equates to 2 file folders or 4 sheets of 8.5 by 11 paper. So I'm going to show you how to do this a few different ways. The first one I'm going to show you is going to be using 2 legal size file folders, and then I'm going to show you how to do it with 4 pieces of 8.5 by 11, 110-pound cardstock, and you can use those same measurements to do it with a file folder, okay? So I'm going to do both ways. I'm going to be back in just a minute. We're going to talk about supplies, and then I'm going to do the first one, and then I'll do the second one, and we'll get this done, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, tools on this one. Scoring tools, a pencil, a ruler, your measuring board if you have one. If you don't, get a bigger ruler. Your paper trimmer, adhesives, okay? 2 legal size file folders. Doesn't matter where the tabs are on these. I've got one right and one middle. Doesn't matter, okay? Just 2 legal size file folders. If you're using the smaller file folders, again, you're going to use the same measurements as if you were to use the 8.5 by 11. So the first one we're going to do is going to be with the file folders. Here's the product on that. So just like the original Tim Holtz, we have a flap here, a little flap that comes down, a pocket flap over here, and this accordion piece, okay? So this base and this flap is going to get cut out of one file folder, and this piece gets cut out of a separate file folder, and leaves you plenty of stuff, to make tags and things. All right, so I'm going to put this to the side. We will refer to it as we're going through here, just, to point things out, okay? I'm going to get everything cleared here, and we're not going to do this like I normally do it. I'm going to probably go through and moving some tools around instead of doing it in regular steps, okay? But we do need to measure some file folders first, so we're going to get that taken care of. I'm going to get this stuff out of the way, get this file folder out of my way, so I have one file folder, a ruler, and my pencil. I'll be right back. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we have to get this to 13.25 inches, but we only want 1/2 of it to be 13.25 inches. So open it up, cut it down the seam. Do not worry if you are not the greatest straight line cutter. Okay? We're going to fix it later. The front part, the part that has the scores in it, put that to the side. Alright, so now we're going to put this over here. We're going to line it up on the edge and across the bottom. We're going to measure out 13.25 inches. We're going to put a line on here. That's the part we're going to cut off. But before we do that, we're going to bring this up. We're going to put this in, making sure that we have this edge flush. This doesn't matter. 3 3/4 inches. We're going to put a score line in here. Couple of times easy, best way to do this, okay? Then we're going to line this part up. And we're going to fold this in. Burnish this. Now we're going to do some cutting. So we're going to bring our cutter out. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to trim this edge just to make it straight. Okay? So we know that edge is straight, so we're going to put that in our cutter. Bring this down. Take that off. Then we're going to turn this around, and we're going to go to 6 inches. Bring this down. We're going to take that off. Save that. It's great for tags. And then, when we turn this over, we're going to see our cut line right there. We're going to put that on the edge of our cutter. We're going to take that off. Okay? So what you should now have is a piece that is 6 inches by 13 1/4 total with one flap. Okay? That's the first piece. Now, we're going to bring in the second piece. And on the second piece, what we need is a piece that is 6 1/2 by 6. So, real easy way to do this is just take this to 6 1/2, line this up, take it off. We're going to cut off the piece that has the score marks on it, turn it around, and cut this at 6. So I now have a piece that is 6 1/2 by 6. So there's my 6, 6 1/2. That's great. Now we're going to do one more piece. We're going to just put this in here right on the edge, trim that so it's straight. Okay. And then we are making, let me get out the demo here so we can see it. We are making this little flap that's going to flap up. And to do that, we need to add 1/2 inch to the actual piece. So this is about 4 inches by 4 1/4. Okay. So on the side that has the scoring, that's what we want to measure. Okay. So we're going to go to 4 inches. Bring this down. So that's 4. And then we're going to turn it and go 4 1/4. We're going to take that down. And that is our flap. Okay? So at this point, we're going to have 3 pieces to start with. That is our 13 1/4 by 6, our 6 1/2 by 6, and our little piece that is 4 by 4 1/4. Okay? The rest of this, get rid of it. We don't need it. Get out your adhesive, whether it's tape or glue. Get that out. Get out your scoreboard and your score tools. We're going to walk through this next part. Okay? I'll be right back. So we're going to start with the big piece. And that flap that we put in here, we're going to leave that folded. We're going to put that folded flap up against the edge of our scoreboard. And then we're going to come out and we're going to score this at 4, 4 1/2, and over here at 9. Okay? Then we're going to take our piece that is 6 1/2, and we're going to score the 6 1/2 piece at 1/2 inch. And then at 4 inches. Okay? So you're going to notice there's a 1/2 inch here and a 1/2 inch here. And that is where these two pieces are going to go together. Okay? Let's get rid of the scoreboard and get out that tape. Now, obviously, I don't use tape when I assemble things, but I am using tape today because it makes it a little easier for everyone to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to put tape. This is the flap. I'm putting tape on this top piece. Okay, I'm putting it on the top of this little 1/2-inch flap. Right there. And then I'm going to cut that off. And I'm just going to kind of rub that in because it makes it easier to peel it up. And then I'm going to take that and lift it up. Make a little flag out of it. Okay? We're going to make the little flag go in. Then I'm going to take this 1/2-inch that I have here on my 6.5-inch piece, and this 1/2-inch where I put the tape, and that's where these are going to get lined up together. So I'm going to put this right on the fold. If you need to fold this in order to see the fold, by all means do that. And then I'm going to pull my tape out. And that is going to give me the overall piece that I need. Okay? So this one over here, you can fold that in. Line it up, top and bottom, hit it with the bone folder. Okay? Then you're going to come over here. It's going to be the one on the inside. That's the one you're going to fold over. Line it up, top and bottom. Burnish the fold. Over on this side, you've already got this fold in. The first fold closest to the edge of this, you're going to fold that and then bring it all the way over. Okay? Burnish. Now that's your base. The next piece is going to be that little flap that's right here. We'll take a look at the piece again. So it's right here in the very middle section. Okay? That's going to be this little guy right here. And it's already got some pieces on it, so you don't really have to do much with this one other than just fold 2 of those in. A little bit of tape on there. Or glue, whichever you prefer. Okay. And then we're just going to line up these 2 pieces. It's going to have about a 1/16 of an inch on either side. So we're just going to line up these 2 pieces just like that, and that's where that's going to go. So I'm just going to make a little flag here. Coming out the bottom. I'm going to line it up on this side. Hold it just like that. Pull out my tape. There she blows. Okay, so now I have my flap, my folds, That's the base unit, all right? When I come back, we're going to get the other file folder out, and I'm going to show you how to cut the zigzag pocket, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, second file folder. Mark it at 12 inches. That's where you're going to cut it off. Then you can cut both sides together because the other side is going to be smaller. All right. And then we're just going to trim this little edge off here. Okay. All right. So we need both of these to be 5 inches tall. One is 12, the other one has to be 8 1/2. Make sure I got this nice and straight. There we go, 8.5. And that is all that we need of that for the moment. Okay, we're going to do some cuts, one more big cut on this. And that is going to be on the longer portion. You can get out your pencil. Okay, so we have our 12-inch by 5-inch piece. And our top corner is going to be on our right. We're going to come down 1.25 inches from the top. We're going to put a little mark here. Okay. And then we're going to cut from the top corner to that mark. I'm going to be cutting this very strange piece off, okay? And then we're going to be using that to create the template for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this on our cut board. We're going to put this 1/2 inch in. That's our cut line. And we're going to do that to and that's 1¼ inches, and then we're going to come up 3 inches on the side over here. Down 3 inches. Down 3 inches. We're going to put a line here, and that's where we're going to cut. We're going to cut from the corner here to the point here. Okay, any pencil marks, just erase them. And now this piece should fit overlapping perfectly onto this piece, okay? So I'm going to get this cutter out of the way, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to start scoring this and getting it put together. I'll be right back. All right, so with our piece in our scoreboard with the slashed section facing down, we're going to mark this score at 4 and at 8. And then we're going to take this piece, we're going to put this in, we're going to score at 1/2 inch, and then at 4.5. Okay? That's it. Get the scoreboard out of the way, get out your adhesive. Adhesive on flap. I'm going to put a line of glue right here. If I can get my glue to work. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my tape. I'm going to release this. This is going to go under here. So I want to line up this edge to the fold. just like that. Now, if there's a little bit off right there, just use your scissors. Take that little corner off, okay? Then we are going to accordion fold, lining up the bottoms and burnish. Bring this piece in, line it up at the bottom, this one over. Now this is the one that's joined, so you need to make sure you get this one straight. And then our last one, bringing it over. And that is our accordion fold, okay? So we're going to bring our piece back over, open it up, and this is the piece that goes right in here. Close our foils, and that's it. So that is how we make this out of 2 file folders. I'll be back in just a minute, and I'm going to show you how to very quickly put this together using 8.5 by 11 cardstock, okay? Be right back. All right, so we're going to get 2 pieces of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. We're going to be cutting this down, okay? The first one, we're going to cut, excuse me, at 6 inches. So we're going to make a piece that is 6 by 11. Okay, I'm going to set that to the side. Then we're going to take the other piece, and we need a piece that's 8.5 by 6. So we're just going to cut this one across this way. Okay. Okay. So we have 2 pieces that are 6. One is 11 inches, and the other one's 8.5. We're going to go ahead and put these pieces away. We're going to use this for the pocket later, but we're going to put those away. And we're going to get our scoreboard, and we're going to get started on this. So on the 11-inch piece, we are going to score this at 2 1/2. We're going backwards because we're building the piece backwards, and I'll explain that in a minute. And then we're going to do this at 6 and 6 1/2. And then we're going to bring in the other piece, and this one we're going to score at 1/2 inch, at 1 inch, and then over here at 5. Okay? And I'm going to get the scoreboard out of the way, and then we're going to put this together. Okay. So let me explain what's going on. On the original, we have our joint over here. Okay? See, there's our joint right here. The way that the 8.5 by 11 paper is, that is too far. It's too long because it's like 13 inches. We needed to move it over. So we are basically moving this joint to this side. Okay? All right. So this part here where we put in those double score lines at 1/2 inch and 1 inch, that's the part we're going to be using. And we're just going to be putting our tape on this. Now, you could fold this if you want to, so you know where that line is. Entirely up to you. But we're going to put our tape here. And this is going to go right underneath. So you have your little 2.5 inch piece on the left, and you have the really big one on the right. Little one on the left, big one on the right. Then we're going to tape the joint, okay? Let me go ahead and pull this tape. Doesn't want to release. Give me a second. There we go. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to make my little flag. I'm going to line this up at the bottom with my edge right on my fold. And then I'm going to take my piece of tape out. And now I have my piece that is the full 19 inches long. Okay? Then I'm going to turn it around. This is my slash pocket. Line it up. Burnish it. Come over to this side. Bring this one in. Line it up. Burnish it. And then this is going to come over, line up, burnish. I skipped one score line. And then on the other side, we're going to come right at that where we joined it. That's going to come in. And we're going to burnish that. Okay? So that's our base piece. Now we're going to take that piece that we had left and we're going to cut our little pocket piece, little flap. And that little piece is 4 1/4 by 4 1/2. Okay. On the 4 1/2 inch side, we're going to put a 1/2 inch score line on that. Or we will if I can find my scoring tool. Okay. Hills, valleys, valleys, hills. All right. Fold that over. Burnish it. Put your adhesive on it, whatever you're going to use. This piece goes right here. And there's about a 1/16 of an inch on either side of it. So I'm just going to put some glue on this. Line it up. My fold right at the bottom. Press that down. That's the flip. Okay. Now, there is one part that I didn't show you using the file folder that I'm going to show you on this part, and that's that slash. So on this front piece, okay, we're going to come up like 2 inches and make a little pencil mark right there. And then we're just going to slash from this fold to that pencil mark, okay? So I'm just going to put the fold right there. My pencil mark right here. Bravely chop it off. Okay? So that's your little piece. If you've got some pencil on there, just erase it. So now we have our little flap here, our little pocket here, and our fold down flap here. It all comes together. The only part we have left to do is the zigzag, and for that we're going to need two pieces of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So go ahead and get that out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so to make our accordion, each panel is 4 inches, so it's 20 inches long. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and we're going to cut this at 5 inches. Across the 8.5. So we're going to end up with 2 pieces that are 8.5 by 5. And then we're going to cut a third one. Okay. Let me get this out of the way. We're going to move on to the next part here. And that is, we're going to do some scoring. So we're going to take all of our 8.5 inch pieces here, and we're going to score them at 4 and 8. 4 and then 8, and we have a decision to make. Do you want to put a piece on here so that when you flip this down, this piece will come up and this can be secured inside, or do you just want to leave this as a takeout piece, or just put it in as a pocket? This is a decision you need to make. If you want to add this where it folds out like a true accordion, then you're going to put your 1/2 inch on this one. If not, you're going to cut that 1/2 inch off, okay? So I'm going to take the 1/2 inch off, and then this last piece, I'm just going to score it 4 inches. Okay? So now I have my 3 pieces. Get this out of the way. We're going to assemble this part. Okay? So to do this, we're going to fold and burnish all of the score lines. Make sure we get everything very well lined up. Okay? Alright, so once we have everything all lined up, we're going to put our 1/2 inch on the right. On each one of these, okay? So, the first thing we need to do is we need to look at this piece is 5 inches, and it needs to come down at an angle, okay? So, this measurement here would be the same one we're going to put up here, okay? Eek. All right. And this measurement from here to here is 7/8 of an inch. Okay. Boop. So we're going to take this and we're going to put this on our cutter. This is our first piece. Just like we did with the file folder, we are going to line up this top corner right here, right on the edge, and then this right on the edge of our cut. Okay. Just like that. Once we have that one done, the next one's easy. Because all we're going to do is line this up. Put a mark right there. We're going to put the top of the first one right at our mark, and then make a mark at the bottom of the second one. Going down. And then we're going to do the same thing on the third one. So once you have this all done, you just accordion it. Now, here's the thing. Doing it in this way, you actually end up with 6 of these flaps. Okay? If you want to make the original, you know, like the original, and only have 5, then just take one off, you know? But these are all lined up. I got a little bit of pencil right there. I hate that. Okay. All lined up. This goes in here. Just like that. This piece comes over, this piece comes over, and that's it. That's the whole thing, guys. If you are new around here and you haven't done so already, go and hit that button for me and subscribe, like me, you know, ring my bell, do all that stuff. If you want more information on the channel and what I have going on, what activities I'm doing, what videos I'm posting, things like that, check out the community tab or the description box below. There's a lot of really good information down there. That's it. That's all I have for you until I see you again. Stay well, my friends. Bye.